All right. And the recording has started. So let me go ahead. Hello, Mr. Jonathan Buford. Glad you were able to make it. I'm going to share my screen here. And unlike with a lot of the other trainings that I typically facilitate, I do allow for Q&A. So as you're looking at this content, you have questions, please feel free to chime in. All right, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to pull up the PowerPoint. So I just had it. Where is it at? There it is. All right, I need one of you to help me out. Can you see the screen clearly?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Welcome to Team Writing Success Playbook, where we know the only place where success comes before training is in the dictionary. As always, people want to know, so we have to share with them, what is the goal? What's the objective, right? Why do we do this training? Well, our objective at Team New Horizons over the next 10 years is literally to help over 100,000 households make the transition into employers. That's our goal. That's our objective. So when individuals ask, well, what is it you do, right? This is what I share with people 100% of the time. People say, what do you do, Juwan? I see you, working in this industry and meeting people here and there, and you're at coffee shops, and I see you recording stuff on YouTube and Facebook, and you're just walking around all the time. I see you busy. What are you doing? And this is what I share with individuals. This is the ultimate, this is the bag, this is the goal for our organization. And of course, PPLSI ultimately is our partner to help make this come true, right? Our core principles, right? Have to share this time and time again. We celebrate, we edify, we protect, we leave activity and work side by side. We invest in personal development, and we use third-party tools to provide uplifting service. At some future training that we will have, I will elaborate exactly what those principles mean and talk about what they mean also in terms of applying them, but that's not for today, all right? One of the things I want to, of course, do, I'd be remiss if I did not do this, is recognize performance code qualifiers for the month of July. And I also included someone who qualified in the first month of August. So maybe I need to adjust that. But look, these are individuals who are going to work every single day in their business, sharing the story, helping people level up. And if you're performance code qualified, that means you're earning income on a consistent basis too, which is important, right? We all are involved in our nonprofit and altruistic endeavors. I like to believe that what we're doing here is honorable, but it's not nonprofit. It is a for-profit endeavor. So we celebrate those individuals who are leveraging this opportunity for what it's worth. If you're performance code qualifying, to be transparent with you, that means you're earning the bonuses, you're going on the trips, you're getting letters inviting you to enjoy a vehicle every now and again. And you are more than likely generating somewhere on a low end, 500 and probably upwards of $1,500 per month, part-time, spare time. So we're going to recognize those individuals who performance code qualified in the month of July. Miss Adia Webb, Miss Angela Roman, give myself a pat on the back. Yay, Juwan Buford, Joyce Johnson Thomas, and Miss Shardea Johnson. Of course, objective, the goal here is to make sure that list gets so big that we actually have to dedicate an entire day to recognize the individuals at some point. That'd be a beautiful thing. All right, so what is this training about specifically today? It's about getting the bag, right? And what is the bag, right? The bag is creating a situation where you are respected, creating a situation where people love, know, and trust you, creating a situation where people see you as the plug, right? They see you as a valuable person in the marketplace. And whether they conduct business with you or not at a given time, they are out there spreading the word and telling people about you, right? And that's what we're going to talk about week in and week out, how to get to the bag, how to create a situation where you are attracting the business as opposed to spending your time, money, and resources trying to hunt the business down. I think we all can agree that we all rather be on the other side of the fence where we're attracting the business, right? Not searching for it, hunting for it, wondering where our next deal or next client is coming from. So what I'm going to share with the group today is actually a conversation I had with a young lady yesterday. So I met with a young lady yesterday who's part of another direct selling organization. Yes, she tricked me. She's a client of ours. She acquired the membership to build her business. She wanted to make smarter tax decisions. She wanted to make sure her business was structured properly. She was debating between LLC and S Corp. She wanted to make sure that as a home-based business owner, she was able to take advantage of all the deductions that are available to her. And she wanted to make sure, she has children, she's getting ready to get married, she wanted to get her estate planning done, These were the motivating factors, the reasons why she primarily decided to acquire our service. So why am I sharing that with you? Because I know some of us are oftentimes out there dealing with individuals who may be a part of direct selling organizations. I'm not going to list the laundry list of the millions of companies that are out there. And what ends up happening, you're sitting across the table from them, they're trying to talk you into joining their thing. And you might be trying to talk them into joining our thing right here at PPLSI. I don't do that, right? I know the one advantage we have as a company above everyone else is that we're a real company offering a real service, a real product, a real value proposition. So while she was busily trying to talk me into joining her direct selling company, I just simply shared the value of our services. And she said, you know what? These services make sense, right? I'm going to go ahead and acquire the membership. So when we met yesterday, it was to onboard her. And she proceeded to try to talk me into joining her company again. I'm going to tell you some of the things she did right. Right? Hopefully this is a clue. The one thing that I noticed about her right out the gate is I could tell she was very much involved in personal development. Can we all agree that you are what you eat? Right? And what do I mean by that? If you eat 1 million Burger King burgers per day, at the end of the month, you're going to look like a burger, you're going to smell like a burger, right? It's the same thing in terms of what we read, the conversations we're having with people, the television shows or whatever we're listening to on the radio, YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. And I was listening to her. She was talking so positively. She was so energetic. She was so enthusiastic. And she started sharing principles that I immediately recognized in certain books. So as we're sitting down talking and chatting, we weren't necessarily conversing about a product or service or joining each other in business. We started talking about Jim Rohn. We started talking about John C. Maxwell, Today Matters, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. We started having conversations about Jack Canfield, Success Principles. We started having conversations about Warren Buffett and his book, Snowball. And to be transparent with you, that caught my attention, right? Because I knew we had some synergy here in terms of values and principles and the things we were taking aim at. So I thought it was pretty cool. And then she went on to proceed to share her mission. And her mission is basically to help people live healthier lives. She has an autoimmune disease, and she also has a situation where she suffers from acne, very terrible form of acne. So does her children. And she began talking to me about how this autoimmune disease and the skin problems she has have impacted her life, her self-esteem, made it difficult for her to feel confident in her professional pursuits and now her entrepreneurial pursuits. And then she shared a story about how the services and products, I'll say it like that, helped her overcome these things. And she talked about feeling healthier, having more energy, waking up morning with the right type of mindset, never feeling fatigued like she did before. And look, as a person who is, 45 years of age, I like to think starting the second half of my life, right? Not quite into the third quarter yet, but starting the second half, those things appeal to me, right? I think about the fact that at 45 years of age, I need this body to carry me with the same level of energy that I have now for the next 15 years to achieve all of my goals, right? I only get one, right? So unless you're involved in eugenics or something like that, which I'm not, this is the body I'm going to have for the next 15 years. And so I'm listening to her and I'm like, some of that stuff makes sense. Yeah, I do need to be, LeBron James can invest $1 million in his body, right? Maybe I should invest $1,200 a year in mine. So I was kind of open to what she was sharing, right? So her mission, her personal story, and then she kind of talked about why she thought it was so important, right? She started talking about the pandemic, how during the pandemic, you had millions and millions of people who died. And let's be frank, a lot of them died because they had underlying health issues. They had diabetes. Some of them were extremely overweight and obese. You had individuals who already had asthma and just underlying conditions that made it a greater likelihood that when they contracted COVID, not only would they have to sit down for a little while, but they may not be breathing 2 and 3 weeks later. And to be transparent with you, that really resonated with me. We're entrepreneurs, right? I talk about faith, family, and finance, and sometimes I forget to talk about health. But as entrepreneurs, we expend a lot of energy, physically and mentally. And if we're not consuming the right things, if we're not exercising, if we're not watching our diet, not just in terms of mentally what we take in, what we put into our bodies, that's a real problem. And I say, you're absolutely right. And so to be transparent with you, without even seeing a presentation about specifically what the products and services were, I was already sold. I told her before she even went into her presentation, don't worry about it, I got you. I'm participating. I'm willing to invest $100 a month in making sure that I'm a healthier person physically, that I'm putting the right things in my body, that I get back into vitamins, get back into proper nutrition, it's a wrap. You got me, right? Now, why am I sharing that with you? Because so many of us are out here in the marketplace trying to convince people in our product and service. We run up on people and we start telling people exactly what it is that we do. And I'm going to tell you, at the end of the day, people do business with folks whom they like, know, and trust. And they do business with people who create resonance, right? So individuals oftentimes ask me, how am I able to day in and day out constantly have an influx of prospects? How am I constantly able to conduct business? How am I able to manage the different verticals that I operate in? And I tell people all the time, I'm not out here pitching products and services. That's not what I do. Every single day, I wake up with the ideal that I'm going to make 3 to 5 new friends every single day. That's what I wake up thinking about. It's not who's going to get this membership. It's not who's going to pay for the subscription. It's not who's going to do this or that. I literally wake up and I think to myself, I'm going to make 4 to 5 new acquaintances, and they're going to like, know, and trust me because I'm going to take the time to form them. Family, occupation, recreation, motivation. If you're not quite sure what I'm talking about, then watch the previous training, which is on the teamnewhorizonsblog.com. And you can watch that training where I talk about how to form people. But that's basically what I'm doing every single day. I'm forming 4 to 5 new people per day. And whether I'm doing that via social media, whether I'm doing that when I meet someone at the coffee shop, or if I'm at the grocery store, wherever I'm at, I just generally smile and I'm nice and I interact with people and I engage them. And 90% of the time, within the first 2 to 3 minutes, they have no idea what it is I do. I'm just asking about the family, occupation, recreation, motivation, right? And if you're nice to people and you ask them questions, they tend to turn around and ask you, what do you do? And once again, I don't share, hey, I got this service and you can get your estate plan done. If you have traffic tickets, we can help you with that. And if you want to try to figure out, should you be an S Corp, C Corp, LLC, L3C, we help you with that. And look, you need to maximize your tax deduction because every 3 years, small business owners in Detroit metropolitan market, Michigan at large, will miss out on $30,000 to $40,000 a year. I mean, any 3-year rolling period, $30,000 in tax. That's not what I do. I say, look, my number one objective, the mission of the organization I'm a part of, is to help over 100,000 households over the next 10 years become employers of their family, their friends, and their neighbors, right? Take control of what happens to the kitchen table. Make sure they are the ones that are curating the way their neighborhoods look and the type of lifestyles they have. Because once again, if you're employing the neighborhood, you get to curate what that neighborhood looks like, how quickly the police arrive, whether they arrive in 2 minutes or 20 minutes, whether or not the lawn is cut, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And I share that mission. And I talk about my personal story, how as a professional, how as an investment advisor, when I was self-employed, the stresses and the strain of trying to build businesses and create financial independence by myself. At some point, I realized I needed a team. I needed a team. And I found a company that was able to surround me the expertise I needed. And now today, as a result of my experience with this company, I don't wake up every single day chasing a dollar. I now have a team of individuals that I can call on when I need assistance building my business. And I'm not spending 2 and 3 and 10 and $20,000 a month to have this team around me, right? I talk about how I believe in entrepreneurship is empowerment, how I love being a business owner and being able to wake up and go to work, but come home in the middle of the day, spend time with the children, see them grow up, play with them, read books to them, and not be in a situation like I was 15 years ago where I was going to work in the dark and coming home in the dark and I had no relationship with my children whatsoever, right? So that's the nature of the conversation that she and I had. And after we had the conversation, she said, look, you're having a lot of success. And now I'm going to get into the crux of the training, right? What I really am here to talk about today. And she says, look, how are you able to generate the type of success you had? Because she and I have been watching each other for several months now, right? Which is also called a clue as well, by the way. She and I have been watching each other for several months. She says, Juwan, you are always meeting people, whether it be Zoom call, coffee shop. Like I noticed even during the pandemic, your business never stopped. What are you doing? And I asked her, well, look, let me ask you a question. How many people you got in play? How many people do you have on deck right now? Like how many people do you have looking at your business? And she says, I have about 5 people. I said, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. I said, that's part of the reason why you're not having the success that you're having. She says, well, how do I resolve that situation? She says, what's your situation? I said, well, right now, I literally have 50 plus leads and prospects. I have 50 people who have been referred to me, 50 people who have contacted me online, text messaged me. I just got another one literally 5 minutes ago. And basically, these are people who are basically saying in so many words, can I set an appointment with you so I can give you on my money to take advantage of your service or product. And she says, wow. She says, how in the world did you do that? How in the world do you literally, and you know what? Because I think some people think sometimes it's a game. Like sometimes people think I'm literally just talking. So hopefully, God, you can't, you're looking at the screen, so you can't even see what I'm getting ready to show you. So what I'm going to do, because I need everyone to see this, right? I need you to see this. So you can see that it's not a game, that I'm not just talking. This is my legal pad. And, okay, it says stop broadcasting. So this is my legal pad. Hopefully you can see that. And this is, wow, okay. So this is from all the leads. Oh, y'all might screenshot this. You better not screenshot this. You better not try to take my clients. Do not screenshot this. I'll find out you contact some of my people. I'm coming for you because I know who you are. Think you tricking me. I have an iPhone up here. I know who you are, iPhone. Anyway, these are all the prospects and referrals from yesterday. These are all the prospects and referrals from the day before yesterday. It's dated. This one says 8/6. So these are all the prospects and referrals from August 6th. So you know it's not a game. These are people that I have not followed up with. These are people I literally have not had time to call. I just had time to write down their names and numbers. At some point, I'll revisit the discussion with them. These are people who say, I want to do business with you. I want to get on your calendar. But I have literally not had the time to get in contact with them. So this is what I want to talk about today. How you go from only have 5 on deck to this many people on deck. Okay? That's what this is about. That's what we're talking about today. So go back, share, go back to screen. Yes, start broadcast. And all right, pull up the PowerPoint again. All right. So the question I asked her was, what are your RGAs? 90% of the time, I come across individuals within PPLSI or entrepreneurs, period, and they don't have that many people in the hopper. The first question I ask is, what are your RGAs? And she looked at me and she says, Juwan, what are RGAs? And I said, well, RGAs are revenue generating activities. And look, it doesn't matter to me what kind of business you're in. Of course, the purpose of this talk is to help people within PPLSI entrepreneurs, right, market their business. But this is universal, right? There are RGAs that all businesses, I don't care if you're an online e-commerce business, I don't care if you're selling used toothpicks, I don't care if you're selling cleaning supplies, if you're selling accounting services, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There are certain activities that every entrepreneur needs to be involved in on a daily basis to have a successful and thriving business, okay? And if you can't answer these questions, 9 times out of 10, that's why you are having a difficult time acquiring clients on a regular basis, right? And in the upper left-hand corner says, if you want better results, you have to ask yourself better questions. And so what are the RGAs? What are the revenue generating activities that every entrepreneur, specifically within our business, right, you have to do to ask yourself every single day? And the first RGA is you have to ask yourself every single day, revenue generating activity is, how many times am I going to introduce new people to my business on a daily basis? How many times? You have to wake up and already have the answer to this question written down somewhere, all right? Some people want to introduce 100 people to their business. Some people want to introduce 5 people to their business. Some people want to introduce 2 people to their business. Depending on whether or not you're spare time, part-time, or looking to earn grown adult income, you have to answer that question for yourself. Now, within PPLSI, it is generally recommended that you should introduce people to your business. In other words, invite people to learn about your business 3 times a day. And what does an invitation or exposure sound like? Well, it sounds like this. I call up Jason. He might be at work. Jason might be sitting down on the couch watching MMA. Jason might be in the middle of a walk somewhere. He might be at the grocery store, but I call him up and Jason answers the phone. Hey, Jason, if you are tuned in, do me a favor, answer the phone. You there, Mr. Pulliam?
I am here. Hello.
Going once, going
Can you hear
twice.
me?
Mr. Pulliam, you able to participate? Okay, if you're not able to participate, that's okay too. So I call up Jason. I'm like, look, oh, there you are. Looks like you got your mic turned on. You got your mic turned on?
It says it's on.
Oh, you can hear me, but I can't hear you. That's interesting. It's okay. So look, I call up Jason. Jason says, what's up, man? I'm like, Jason, look, man, I just made an investment I'm really excited about. And I've been looking for something that would liberate me from the day-to-day, going to work, check to check lifestyle. I know I'm really excited about entrepreneurship, and I found something that would really help me make better business, financial, and legal decisions for my family and for my business interests. I know you're an entrepreneur. I respect you a whole lot. And look, this is not an invitation to buy anything. But if I were to forward and share some information with you about what it is that I'm doing, would you be willing to take a look at it? And because I didn't call up Jason trying to sell him a bunch of product and service, I didn't harass him. I just asked him a real simple question. I was straightforward and to the point. The majority of the time, Jason would say, well, yeah, I'll take a look at it. I'll be like, Jason, hey, if I were to forward the information to you, would you prefer text message or email? He may say, well, send it to me text. He may say, send it to me via email. I'm going to do that. But before I send it to him, I'm like, hey, Jason, when do you think you can get around taking a look at it? He may say, I'm going to look at it an hour from now. Great. I give you a call at 3 p.m. That'd be good. Follow, get your feedback. Yeah, no, okay. He may say, I'm going to look at it this evening. I say, great. So if I were to give you a call later on this evening around 6 p.m. or tomorrow morning, would that be a good time to get your feedback? He may say, I don't have time. I'm going to get around to it. I'm going to look at it Sunday. And I may say, okay. So if I were to follow you Sunday at 5 or Monday in the morning, what time would be the best time, right? What am I doing? I'm setting an appointment to get his feedback. I'm setting an appointment. The biggest mistake that individuals make in the exposure process is you're sharing information with people, but you're not setting an appointment to follow up. And I want you to pay attention to the language I'm using too. Do not be lazy in language. Okay. I'm not saying sound like Jawan Buford. You don't have to sound like me, but understand the psychology behind the words I'm using. I said, if I were to forward the information to you, would you take a look? In other words, I'm not thirsty. In other words, I'm not desperate. In other words, I'm not going to send anything to you unless you agree that you will look at it, right? So if I were to send it to you, would you take a look? And then I'm going to find out when are you going to get around to taking a look at it. And then I'm going to set an appointment to follow up with you. That's what exposure sounds like. So one of the most important RGAs is asking yourself, how many times am I going to do that in a given day? Now, I hear people say, well, I don't have time to do exposures. No, that's BS.com. You have time. You may not just have focus, but you have time. That only takes 2 minutes. Only takes 2 minutes to invite people to learn about your business. But you have to ask yourself, how many times are we going to do that? And that's what I shared with the young lady. Like, how many times are you actually inviting people to learn about your business? She said, I'm only probably inviting one person every 3 to 4 days. I said, that's not going to work. I don't care what business you're in. At minimum, you should be inviting people. Once again, you can be an attorney, you can be a real estate agent, you can be any type of endeavor. You need to be inviting at least 3 people per day to learn about what it is you do. Notice I didn't say buy from you. I said just take the time you're willing to learn. And if you're doing that 3 times a day, that's 15 times a week if you're a 5-day work week, right? That's 60 times a month. That's 720 times annually that you are inviting people to learn about your business. Snowflakes turn into snowballs. You don't have to get up, particularly for the majority of you who I know are probably building your business part-time around your work, family obligations, academic endeavors, or the other entrepreneur endeavors you're involved in, right? It does not take an abundance of activity. It does not take an abundance of time or work. It just takes focus, right? And so your focus should be, if you're part-time, 3 times a day, inviting people. And at the end of the year, you've invited out 720 individuals to learn about what it is you're doing. All right, so what happens next? What's the next RGA? You extend the invitation. Now, the next question you should ask yourself is, okay, how many times am I going to give a presentation underneath favorable conditions? So you've invited someone to take a look. So whether you invite them to look at your website, you invite them to look at a brief corporate overview, maybe you have some other type of video or tool that you share, but they're looking at something and they're making a decision as to whether or not they would like to learn more, right? So the next RGA is, how many times am I gonna, now that they are aware that I exist, how many times am I going to give a presentation under favorable conditions? And what's favorable conditions? Favorable conditions is delivering information to them in the way that they would like to receive it. What's optimum for them? What's optimum for the prospects and individuals that you're dealing with? Me personally, I'm a nerd. So if you send me something that I can read, I love that. Anything you send me that I can read, I love it. I'll read it. It's just how I'm cut. It's the way I am. Okay. I have a short attention span when it comes to telephone conversations. Okay. I got a million things going on. I got a rabbit brain. And the only thing that really focuses me is when I'm reading stuff. But you know what? There are a lot of people who don't read. Most people are not readers, right? Most people are not reading 10 to 20 to 30 pages a day. So maybe you invite them to listen to an audio. Maybe you invite them to listen to watch a presentation where literally you set a time via Zoom and you give a presentation. Or guess what? Maybe you're not comfortable giving presentations. Well, fortunately with our company, you don't have to be, right? You have Thursdays at 6. There are multiple Zoom presentations taking place every single day of the week. So if you're not comfortable giving presentations, you can invite people to a presentation, right? Where they can also listen and see at the same time. Or if you really want to go there with Zoom, keep in mind, you can pull up your Zoom screen, you can play a video on your phone, on your iPad, and on your computer, and let the presentation be delivered for you via one of the audios or videos that we provide. But the bottom line is you want them to receive a presentation where they have a chance to get 100% of the information they need to make an educated decision. You need to ask yourself, how many times is that going to happen per day? How many times after a person says, yes, I'll take a look, you follow them. What do you like best? They say, I like A, B, C, and D. Great. I know you're not going to make a buying decision based on a video. I know you're not going to make a buying decision based on a website. I know you're not going to make a buying decision based on audio. Most of the intelligent, smart entrepreneurs I know typically don't make important decisions about their business or personal lives unless they have an opportunity to see 100% of the information. Would you agree with me? That's my script. I say the same thing every single time. It doesn't matter what endeavor I'm involved in. I've been doing it for 20 years. As an investment advisor, that was my script. Today with PPLSI, that's my script. Right? I'll share information with someone, give them a chance to decide whether or not they have an interest in learning more. And I say, look, I know you're not going to make a buying decision, an important decision as relates to your business, your family, based on audio, a video, or a website. Because guess what? Most entrepreneurs, most business owners are not. Because for them, it's not about what it is, it's about how it can serve them. Right? So I know you're not going to make that decision. Look, wouldn't be a great time where I could take time to share with you 100% of the information. And they're going to set a date, they're going to set a time, we're going to set an appointment where either I'm doing it via Zoom, in person, or once again with PPLSI, we have the little quick 2 and 3 minute snippets. But guess what? We also have full-on presentations that will deliver all the information that the person needs to make an educated decision. Now, look, notice what I said. I didn't say how many times am I going to give a presentation where they're going to buy the product. I have no control over that. I have no control over whether or not anyone does business with me. But what I can control is when I give a crisp, professional presentation in a way that makes sense for them, at the time that makes sense, in the way they want to receive the information. So whether it be, once again, a longer audio, whether it be a longer video, some people are Zoom call, they love that. And of course, some of my older clients, they want belly to belly, eyeball to eyeball. So, hey, I'm inviting them to the coffee shop of my choice in an area that's most convenient for me. And I'm going to give them a presentation, right? But that's the next question every business owner has to ask themselves, right? So once again, whether you're utilizing social media, whether you're paying for ads on a radio station, on a television set, and though most people are moving away from that, regardless of whatever your approach is, your next question is, how many times are people going to receive an educated overview about what it is that we do? All right. So what is the next question that every business owner, especially PPLSI business owner entrepreneur, needs to ask in order to ensure they're having success? How many presentations do I need to give for someone to opt in? Right? You should know that number. I know what my number is. I know for every 10 presentations I give, typically 3 to 4 people opt in. It is what it is. Now, some people say, man, how do you have such a high closing ratio? What are you saying? It's not what am I saying. Keep in mind, 9 times out of 10, a person isn't meeting with me unless they already have an idea of what it is I provide, right? I invited them to learn about what it is I do first Then I schedule the presentation. It's the approach that I take. There are a million different approaches out there. It's the approach that I take. I only want to meet with people who are interested in what it is that I'm marketing or sharing. I only want to meet with people who can afford what it is that I'm marketing and sharing. And I want to meet with people who make decisions. I need a yes or a no. I don't do maybes. Maybe I'll look at it next week. Maybe I'll look at it next year. Maybe I'll do business with you. Maybe I won't. No, I'm going to get a yes or I'm going to get a no. I refuse to allow people to put me in the land of maybe, right? So by the time someone is sitting down with me, they already know what it is. They already have a general idea on how much the product or service offering costs, right? How much one of our plans cost. And then they typically, I'm going to tell you right now, 9 times out of 10, if you've gotten to this point, they have already made up their mind whether or not they're going to do business with you. They've made up their mind, just like with that young lady, how I started, right? I had already made up my mind. I was going to do business with her. I didn't know specifically what that business relationship is going to look like, but I had made up my mind based on her sharing her mission, her vision, her goal, her why, having resonance. I felt good about that relationship, and I felt good that if I invest in that relationship, good things were going to happen, right? This is going to be the same thing with you, right? 9 times out of 10, if someone's decided to participate in a presentation, they already have made up their mind they're going to do business with you. It's just up to you to confirm their feelings and thoughts. Remember, people make buying decisions. People's buying decisions are controlled emotionally. We use our cerebellum to rationally confirm the reason why we made the decision, right? So for me, I know 3 to 4 people for every 10 presentations I give are going to say yes, because number one, I've already exposed them. And number two, yeah, I do an okay job of giving the presentation, but keep in mind, it's not the words, it's the process, right? Now, look, when you're first starting out, your ratio might be 20%. 20% of people that you share information with may opt in to become a client or a customer of yours, okay? If you're doing 25%, trust me, you're highly effective, okay? Most people never reach 25%. And if you're 30%, you're elite. I've been in business for approximately 20 years. Hopefully at this point, I'm close to elite or elite. But don't believe the hype. Don't believe the Facebook videos. Don't believe the Instagram videos. Don't believe this nonsense where people tell you they're closing at 100%. No one closes 100%. Michael Jordan is the GOAT of basketball. He did not shoot 100%. Okay? Ken Griffey Jr., Hank Aaron, these incredible baseball players, they only make contact that ball and put in the field 30% of the time. If you're batting at 30%, if 30% of the time people are opting into your product service, that means you are doing a fantastic job. You are elite at what you do, okay? But over the course of time, you learn how to become elite at it. And that is a training that you could have watched. Go back once again, teamhorizonsblog.com to see trainings on how to give better presentations. But trust me, if you're batting at 20%, you're doing a fantastic job, right? So number one, how many presentations do I need to give for someone to opt in? But remember, someone making a positive buying decision, why it's important, we need to generate revenues, that's not the bag, right? Remember, the bag is having over 1,000 individuals who like you, who trust you, who see you as the plug, who see you as someone of value, that they would trust to introduce their family, friends, and neighbors, where you have people out there who are referring folks to you, so you're attracting business as opposed to having to run it down, right? So moving on. This is how you get closer to that 1,000. The next question you should ask yourself every single day, and this is the question that most entrepreneurs do not ask, and this is why most entrepreneurs find themselves every single day waking up wondering where their next client is coming from. The question you should ask is, how many referrals am I going to acquire per day? How many referrals am I going to acquire per day? One of my business mentors, John Hoffman, says, if you are cold calling, if you're spending money on marketing, if you're spending all day long on social media, if you are approaching strangers, there's nothing wrong with those things. But if you're doing those things and that's how you're getting business, it's your punishment for not asking for referrals. You should be asking referrals whether someone makes a buying decision yes or a buying decision no, every single time. You should be asking referrals. And of course, in our business, there are 3 types of referrals that we all should ask for. So you share a video with someone, you share audio with someone, you invite them to one of our Zoom calls. You should always ask individuals 1 or 3 questions. Whether they make a buying decision to opt in or out, it does not matter. You ask them, look, who do you know that you want to help? Who do you know who has children and should get their estate plans done? Who do you know who maybe has been evicted by debt theft? Who do you know who's looking to start up a business? Who do you know that you care for, right? People will say, well, Juwan, I ask people for referrals and then they don't give them to me. They'll say, I don't know anyone. It's not that they don't know anyone. You're not being specific enough. Yesterday, I asked someone, look, if your car broke down at 2 a.m. in one of the worst neighborhoods in your area, and it's negative 30-degree weather, and you can't call AAA, you can't call the police, no one's coming to get you, who are you going to call first in your phone? All right, who are those individuals? 9 times out of 10, those are the people who love, know, and trust you. Those are the people who support you 1,000 grand. Those are typically going to be the people that you care about the most and the people that care the most about you. I'll ask that question all the time. You got to be specific. I'll ask, who's your brother? Who's your sister? What do they do for a living? Right? Because if I formed you, family, occupation, recreation, motivation, right? That's how you should start every conversation. You've mentioned your family. You've mentioned your recreation. You probably mentioned some of the people you work with. I'm going to ask you about them. I'm going to wrap back around to it. Who's your mom? Who's your dad? Do they have children responsibilities? Are they looking for work in retirement? What are they doing right now? I'm going to ask. The next referral I'm going to ask for is, who do you know that's a business owner? Who do you know that's an entrepreneur? Who do you know that's a business owner that has employees? Right? That's the next referral I'm going to ask for. The last referral I'm going to ask for is, who do you know who's looking to earn an extra $1,000 part-time, spare time? They're just looking for extra. Everyone is right now, right? Eggs, gas, cost of everything's going up. A lot of people looking for extra right now. I'll ask, who do you know who's looking for career change? Gregarious, likes talking to other entrepreneurs and business owners, loves business, outgoing, not afraid of money, right? Not afraid of work. Who you know that's a busybody, right? I'm asking specifically for the type of person, the buyer persona that I'm interested in working with. Some of you just say, well, who do you know? That's not going to work. You got to be specific, right? So for us, it's R3. Who do you know what you want to help? Who do you know what you love, know, and trust? While we can't control whether or not they're going to invest themselves, we can control whether or not we're going to give them an opportunity to make a better decision to help them level up in terms of their personal lives and their business lives and their financial lives. Who do you know? Who do you know that's a business owner or an entrepreneur that's looking to get started, or a business owner already has employees? And then last but not least, who do you know who's looking to level up financially? They're looking for career change. They're sick and tired of the check-to-check, month-to-month lifestyle. They want to know what it's like to get on the other side of money, right? I ask those specific questions. And here's the thing, if you're asking for referrals on a consistent basis, let me break down this formula, right? And the formula I've been using from when I started my entrepreneurial journey, my gosh, I'm just being reminded how old I am, 25 years ago, when I started out in the financial services industry. This is the formula I've used since then, 100, 30, 10, 3, 1. In other words, and this is what I wrote down on a napkin, by the way, and I shared with the young lady yesterday. I just wrote this down on a napkin, 100, 30, 10, 3, 1. So number one, I know that more than likely I'm going to have to reach out to 100 people, whether it be over the course of a day, over the course of a week. I'm going to have to reach out to 100 people to get 30 to listen to me. I'm reach out to 100 people to get, whether it's online, whether I meet someone in person at a networking event. I already have this formula ingrained in my cerebral cortex. For me, this is what I look to do on a weekly basis. And when I want to turn up, I look to do this on a daily basis. Yeah, I will sit down and I'll make $100. Yes, I will go online and I will invite 100 people to learn about my business when I want to turn up. But this is kind of like my weekly routine. I look to reach out to 100 people. I invite 100 people to learn what it is that I'm doing. Okay. I know I'm only going to get the attention of about 30. And out of those 30, I anticipate that I may be able to get 30 of those individuals that I've invited to learn what it is that I'm doing. 10 of them will say, you know what? Yeah, I'll take 15, 20, 30 minutes to learn about what you're doing. What you're saying makes sense. You resonate with me. I like, know, and trust you. I think you're a person of value, right? That's what they're really saying when they set the appointment with you. So I'll sit down with you. And then I expect that out of those 10, I'm going to average about 3 to 4. For this case here, I'm going to put 3. 3 people will say, you know what? I'm going to opt in. I want to participate. I'll take advantage of your service or product. And I expect 1 to become a client. See, a customer is someone who's done business with you one time, you may or may not see them again. It's like the person that walks into a gym shoe store, they buy gym shoes. They don't have a personal relationship. They don't like the people in the gym shoe store place. They don't have any emotional attachment. They're just buying gym shoes and they're gone. And I expect that. I expect that some of the individuals I do business with, they're not going to like me. We're not going to get along. We're not going to become best buds and best friends. I'm not going to invite them to Thanksgiving, and neither are they going to invite me to their Thanksgiving party. Okay? But I do expect that at least one of them will be someone that I have a long-lasting relationship. They're a client. We have an emotional attachment. We resonate. We like to talk to each other. We like to deal with each other. We're going to interact on a regular basis, right? That's the formula. Now, look, I want you to focus on that 10. The 10 individuals that said they would be willing to sit down with me. Remember, whether they opt in or whether or not they opt out does not matter to me. It really does not matter. If your value prop, in our case, PPLSI, we're very fortunate. We have a good value prop. So you should be batting at between 20 and 30%, right? So I know I'm going to acquire clients if I'm focused on this formula. If I'm doing the work, right? The being is in the doing. Hopefully none of you woke up today saying, I'm going to try to breathe. Hopefully none of you woke up saying today, I'm going to try to eat. Hopefully none of you woke up saying, I'm going to try to get to the bathroom, right? I don't wake up thinking I'm going to try to entrepreneur. I wake up, I'm an entrepreneur, and I do what entrepreneurs do. I'm going to go out and I'm going to invite a certain number of people on a daily basis. I'm going to invite them to learn about what it is I'm doing. I'm going to schedule an appointment or a favorable presentation and give them the chance to opt in or out. I'm a sorter, not a salesperson, right? My only objective is to educate you about what it is I do. You'll opt in or you'll opt out. But if I'm doing it as a professional, if I'm forming you correctly, if you have a good feeling about me, at the end of that presentation, I'm going to ask you for referrals. Now, look, if I ask 10 people for referrals, let's be real here. 3 of them are going to give me a goose egg. It doesn't matter how nice, how personable, doesn't matter how polite, doesn't matter how valuable what it is that I offer. A handful of them are just going to say, nope, I don't have anyone to share. That's just how people are. That's how some people get down, right? But I also know I'm probably going to have one person, which yesterday, one person literally gave me 15 referrals. This was someone who didn't even opt to acquire the service or product. They didn't want the small business plan. But they were so impressed with the approach. They were so appreciative of the fact that I didn't grab them by the ankles and try to convince them to get the service. So I just took the time to educate them. They gave me 15 referrals. So that's going to happen sometimes. Some people may only give me 1 referral. But I know if I ask 10 people per week for a referral, I'm going to average about 3 referrals, which means I'm going to average about 30 referrals a week. If I'm averaging 30 referrals a week, that's 120 monthly. It's 120 monthly. Keep in mind, people are not giving me 15, 20, and 50 referrals every single time. If I just average 3 referrals per person I meet, that's 30 referrals weekly. That's 120 referrals monthly. 120 referrals over the course of a year is 1,440,000 referrals annually. Now, here's the thing about referrals. 9 times out of 10, if you refer to someone, this is what it sounds like. Let's say I'm referred to Jonathan. So I'm going to call Jonathan and say, hey, Jonathan, this is Juwan. You and I don't know each other. I just get it out the way. Because you already know the first thing someone's thinking when you call them up, they don't recognize. They're like, who the hell are you? Right? Why are you calling me? I get it out the way. Look, Jonathan, my name's Juwan. You and I don't know each other. But we have a good friend in common by the name of Jason. And I press pause. I give them a chance to process that, right? And if they know Jason, I've bought myself another 20 to 30 seconds with them, which is all I need. So I'll say, Jonathan, look, you and I don't know each other, but I was referred to you by a good friend that we have in common by the name of Jason. I'm going to press pause. And I'm going to say, look, do you have a moment? Do you have a moment? Professional courtesy. Do you have a moment? In other words, I'm not calling up people, even if I've been referred to them, and throwing up on them about what it is I do. Do you have a moment? And 9 times out of 10, because I was polite and professional about it, and they get the feeling that I'm not thirsty, that I'm not desperate to jam a product or service down their throat, they're gonna say, yeah, I got a moment. What they really mean is you got 30 seconds. So I'm gonna say, look, I shared some information with Jonathan about how our company has been able to help people make better business, financial, and legal decisions, level up in life in terms of their household, in terms of their businesses. You know, one of our goals is literally to help over 100,000 households over the next 10 years become employers. And I asked Jason who are the smart, sharp people that he knows, the people that he respects, people who are moving forward in life. And you're one of the first individuals whom he referred me to. And I pressed pause. And I let that set in for a minute, right? There's a book out there called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And one of the first things he says is you should compliment people. Notice what I did. I complimented them. I asked Jason, who are the people that he likes, knows, and respects? People that he believes are moving forward in life, intelligent people, right? People are doing something with themselves. And you're one of the first people he referred me to. What I would like to share with you may or may not be for you, and it's okay. But Jason thought you could really benefit. If I were to forward the information to you, would you take a look? And you already know where this is going, right? Well, yeah, I'll take a look. Okay, do you prefer email or text message? Now, the reality of the matter is what I really want is their email. I already have their phone number. I want their email. We'll talk about that another time about the email, but I want their email. So I may even say, hey, if I were to email this to you in the next couple minutes, how soon you can get around taking a look at it? I'm setting the appointment, right? I'm setting the appointment to follow up. And then I'm going to follow up. And we know what ends up happening from there. They may or may not make the appointment, but if you set it professionally, you do it correctly, increase the likelihood that appointment is going to stick and stay on the books. Now, here's the thing about referrals. Here's the thing about referrals. Referrals close at a higher clip. Why do they close at a higher clip? Particularly when you're dealing with entrepreneurs and business owners, because entrepreneurs and business owners are competitive. If they find out that another business owner or entrepreneur is having success with a product or service or an approach and it's working for them, they're going to want to know about it. And if it makes sense to them, they're going to want to opt in. That's how entrepreneurs and business owners get down. That's why you see ABC Construction Company down at the bottom. Earlier this week, I was referred to a construction company here in Detroit Metro. I'm going to stop in on that construction company on a random next week. I'm going to find out when the decision maker is there, and I'm going to stop in. And I'm going to say, so-and-so referred me to you. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'd like to invite you to learn what it is that I'm doing. And if they opt in and say, yeah, we can set the appointment, I'm going to go right down the street to the next company. I'm going to say, look, I stopped in with ABC Construction Company, shared some information with them. I figured I'm in the neighborhood. I'd like to stop by and have the opportunity to invite you to learn about what we're doing too. They were really excited, by the way. We're going to help them take care of A, B, C, and D. That's how you use referrals to continue to build your business. That's how you use referrals to turn cold market into lukewarm, right? That's typically how it works. And if you're closing at a 50% clip, with referrals, which is what you should close at, that's out of 1,440,000 referrals, you should close at 50%. That's 720 clients. Now you take 720 clients and you put the number at the end of it that makes sense for you. Right? With us here at PPLSI, every time you put a client on the book, you know you're going to earn on a low end 700, on the high end, especially if you're marketing business plans, you're going to earn $800. So you take 720 and multiply that times 800, right? But regardless, put the number at the end that makes the most sense for you. You know, for every 1,000 clients you put on the books, whether you do it over the course of a year, you do it over the course of 10 years, doesn't matter to us. You're going to earn a residual income between $60 on the low end and $80,000 per year for every 1,000 clients. That's the income that's coming to your household, whether you go to work or not. But you put that number on the back end. It makes the most sense for you, right? And this is how I am walking around with a legal pad full of more names and numbers and people who actually have called, contacted me, been referred to me, that I have time, then I have more time to get around to. This is why I never run out of people to talk to. This is how, one of the ways in which you get the bag, right? Revenue generating activities. How many people am I going to expose? How many people am I going to present to? How many people am I going to put in a situation to make an educated decision? I just need them to opt in or out. No maybes. No maybes. And then how many times I'm going to ask for referrals, right? And if you're asking for referrals, if you're practicing R3 every time someone has had a chance to make an educated decision, you should end up, if you're just following this basic formula, you should end up with over 1,000 people who like, know, and trust you, over 1,000 people over the course of time who are checking for you, who believe in you, who believe you are the plug. And even if they're not doing business with you, that's okay. If they're willing to tell other people about you, now you never have to worry about finding where your next client's coming from. So look, this that I talked about today, this is a topic, if you can't tell, that I could talk about easily for the next 2 hours, but I condensed it. For our purposes here because I know people have 2 and 3 hours in the middle of the day. Hopefully this served you. I'm going to press pause for a moment and I'm going to ask you if you have questions about the content that's been shared. Now would be a good time. Press pause. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'll press pause and I'm going to say, look, based on what I shared with you, we're going to take the next 5 minutes to get any questions answered that individuals may have. So if you have questions, go ahead and pose the questions now. Unmute your line. Oh, some people put it in the chat. Oh, I don't hear anything anymore. Okay, disregard. You are hearing stuff now. Okay. All right. Any questions? I know it was a lot. Questions going once. I see unmuted mics. So I'm thinking someone may have questions, but I'm not hearing any.
I don't have any questions per se, but just the simplicity of 3 exposures a day. It kind of just translates across all categories. So
You sound very distant, Mr. Pulliam, but I don't have any questions right now, but you said it sounds
yeah, I
very
don't
simple.
have any questions, but the 3 exposures a day breakdown is pretty straight to the point. It kind of applies to pretty much any business, any category, and can be duplicated in any way. And it just sounds low, but 3 exposures a day. What you didn't cover was how to make exposures. Whether that be in person or email, or well, you may have touched on a little bit, but just thinking about the different ways to do exposure so that you can reach more people in a day.
Okay. Well, guess what we'll be covering in the next training next week? Where to find people, how to do exposures, how to invite people in a way which they're going to be inclined to listen and learn to what it is that you have to say, right? Or introduce them to. But you're right, 3 per day is very low, but I mean, you saw the figures, right? You saw the numbers. 3 per day can make a significant difference in an entrepreneur's life. Now, of course, if you need to turn up faster, you want to get to 6-figure income or 6-figure revenues faster, you turn up the volume, right? When I first started out, quite frankly, 9 months ago, when I made up my mind I needed to level up my business, I was up to literally 15 people per day. Yeah, 15 people per day. LinkedIn, Facebook, going to the grocery store, going to coffee shops. I was purposely putting myself in places where I was going to end up meeting that many people or engaging that many people per day. In other words, I did not put my head down at night until I got to that number 15. Even that meant just going on Facebook and straight up harassing 3-4 other people. Right, but I was going to invite 15 people per day to learn about what it is I was doing. Right, so depending on your circumstances, you may need to turn up. 3 may not be enough. Right, 3 will get you a 5-figure income. Trust me. But if you are interested in turning up and getting to the 6-figure income, well, maybe you do 5. Maybe you do 10. Right, cool. All right, any additional questions, comments? Did this serve you? All right, questions going once. Questions going twice. Questions going thrice. All right, look, let's crush it. Have a phenomenal day and weekend ahead of you. As always, you can reach me via text message. You can hit me up in Slack, or via our email group here at Ring Central. Get back in contact if you want to do a deeper dive in terms of the content I shared. And I celebrate success in advance. Everyone have, oh, look, I got to do this, right? Got to cover the furniture. Thursday, 6 p.m., there's a B2B training call. Invite people to the call, right? You don't have to be the one giving the presentation. You can invite people to it. We give the presentations for you. If you know other individuals who said, you know what, I want to participate, not only do I want the service, but I want to understand your business model. Know that 7 p.m. every day of the week, Team Prosperity Partners has a presentation where they talk about our business model. So what I'll do when I download this video is I will put those credentials in the notes. So you'll be able to see the Thursday at 6 and you'll be able to see the TPP call. I tend to plug into the one on Tuesdays because I have other stuff going on. I can't be on that every single day, right? But for individuals who have interest in learning about the business model, I invite them in there. So I'll make sure that's in the notes as well. So that being said, signing off, celebrate success in advance. Everyone have an incredible day.